it's Angela from Buckridge Homestead. I'm back in my kitchen today and we're gonna make chicken noodle soup from scratch. So ready to come along with me and make some soup, and it'll make a really great lunch. I can't wait to have some. Or maybe by the time I'm done it'll actually be dinner time. But either way, it's gonna be delicious. So let's go. So the first thing that I did yesterday is I had bought one of those barbecue chickens, and we kind of had a treat and pulled the skin off and ate all that yummy part, and then I picked the rest of the chicken off of it and put it in a bag in the fridge for today for making soup, because this chicken from those little barbecue chickens at the grocery store is so tender and flavored so delicious. I just love it. But if you don't have one of those, you can just fry up some chicken breasts and dice them all up or slice them all up in whatever size you like. These pieces are going to come apart and pull apart in the soup anyway. But yeah, so gather up whatever kind of chicken that you have, and then we're going to go and make our broth.
All right, friends, so I have the bone broth that I was telling you about that I made last night, which I made from the bones and a couple onions chopped up and some seasonings like Mrs. Dash, salt and pepper, the homemade Mrs. Dash. If you haven't seen that video yet, go check it out, the homemade Mrs. Dash. You can make a huge quantity of it to always have on hand so you don't have to buy it, because I don't know about you, but I go through a lot because I love no salt seasonings. But anyway, here I am, and the next step is to add 3 containers of chicken broth. I've got low salt, no name chicken broth, and I've got Campbell's roasted garlic chicken broth, but you can use anything that you have. Whatever you want, it doesn't matter, but approximately 3 more liters. Now make it to the size pot that you have.
After I pulled the chicken off of the little barbecue chicken, I put all the bones into a stock pot and I cut up 2 onions and I boiled them for 2 hours, and then I put my pot out on the outside because I have no room in my fridge, so I put it out on the barbecue overnight hoping it'd be cool enough. So today I'm just warming that up. And I also added salt and pepper and the homemade Mrs. Dash. I used like 3 tablespoons from, if you look at the prior video where I made homemade Mrs. Dash seasoning at home, but you can use anything you want, just whatever seasonings that you like. That one has onion powder, garlic powder, parsley, so many things. You gotta watch the video. It's amazing. It smells so good, and it just gives the soup such a nice flavoring, and I use it in all of my soups. So let's get the broth going, and then we'll add the veggies. Okay, so I just added to my homemade chicken broth, and you can use as much water when you're making your broth as you have. I'm just doing it enough that I fill this pot, because then I have enough for leftovers for 2 meals and to make a container of leftovers, or a couple containers that, by the looks of it, to put in the freezer. So this broth, I just came over and I added those 3 cartons of chicken broth, and they were just low sodium chicken broth, and one was roasted garlic chicken broth. So I'm just bringing this all back to a boil for a while I cut up my veggies. So first I'm just going to get that chicken that I picked apart, and I was pretty sure, oh, I see one bone. I'm pretty sure that I got all of the bones out, so I'm just going to add chicken, and I've just freshly washed my hands. I wash them so many times that they're so dry, but I'm in the kitchen so much. I'm constantly either doing dishes or making food, or cleaning up from vice versa. So I do them a lot. And we don't have a dishwasher. We just wash everything by hands. We could have a dishwasher, but we chose not to. We prefer to just do our dishes by hand. It's quicker and we can not waste so much water that way because we're on a well. So all right, so I've added the chicken and it's going to start cooking and flavoring the soup and falling apart. And that will be great. I've cranked this up now to about 7 medium high, and I'm just going to get my veggies going. So I'm just getting rid of that chicken bowl. So typically, I wash all my Ziploc bags that have vegetables in them or anything else and reuse them over and over, but this one has meat in it, so then I don't do that. I only do it with the ones with the vegetables. Okay, so I've gathered all my veggies, and this is going to be a really simple chicken noodle soup, very brothy, for just when you're not feeling good or anything. It just is such a nice soup to enjoy. So I've gathered up carrots, I've washed some celery, washed the carrots, washed some fresh parsley, and this garlic I had from the other day when I showed you that when I'm going to peel a few cloves. I always do the whole bulb at the same time. Dice it all up in the food processor and keep some in the fridge, and then I don't have to deal with that garlic. Now it's already all chopped, and then I'm going to chop up 2 onions. So you don't need 2 onions because unless you're making as big a pot as mine, but I really want lots of flavor in this soup. So I'm going to get chopping. Okay, so I've got out my food processor and I'm going to make it really easy on myself this way by chopping all of this stuff in here, and it's already all clean and ready to go. So first thing I'm going to do is put in all of my onions. Ooh. Chopped, just coarsely chopped, and then I'm going to get those chopped up. Well, that was easy, super easy. I think I've told you in videos before that I need to chop this onion really fine because of certain pickiness. So I'm just going to do it a little bit more. But that should be good. Okay. So I will get rid of this, and I'm going to scoop this into my bowl of everything that I'm going to dump into the soup. These onions are strong. Wow. This is going to be such a yummy soup. You guys, the kitchen already smells so good. So delicious. I can't wait. Okay, and I'm not going to wash this now because I'm still putting the same things in my soup. And same stuff's going in the same pot. So I've got the slicer attachment on, or at least I think I do. And now I'm going to do the celery. So let's put this in here and see if it's a slicer. Yep. It's the right one. Okay, awesome. That was so much easier, and it slices it so nicely. Oh, okay. So we'll just scrape that out. If you don't have one and you're chopping it, you can chop it fine, you can chop it thick, whatever you like. We like our stuff chopped fairly fine. And so I really like this blade setting. And I'm just going to throw it right back on for the carrots. The only thing is some stuff gets stuck sometimes in the lid. And I have to get a knife to get it out. But I want all the celery because celery just makes the soup. And oh yeah, you probably noticed how much celery I'm using. I used a whole bunch because that's how much we love celery. Well, I do anyway. Uh-oh, it's not working. Must have it. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Okay, those are done. And I also like a lot of carrots in my soup. I love carrots. They're absolutely one of my favorite veggies. Okay, so that looks awesome, and we've already got the garlic all chopped up from the other day. So I'm just going to add this in here. You could put it straight into your soup. I'm just gathering everything into a bowl. Wow, that looks like a lot, but it won't be for the size of pot of soup that I'm making. So all that chicken has been in there simmering. Ooh, that looks really yummy. Okay, so we're gonna go take all of this with the fresh parsley, celery, carrots, and onions under here over to the pot. Okay, so first I'm gonna put in that garlic, which is about 7 cloves for this big pot. Smells so good in here. And now I'm going to add all of my veggies. Yum. And this is really simple. I don't put a lot of ingredients. It's mostly all about the flavor. So that looks really good. I'm just going to switch my spatula out for a wooden spoon, or wooden paddle spoon that I love. These are so cool. I got these on Amazon. I got a bunch of different ones, different sizes. It came with a whole package of them. So, oh, that's looking so good. Okay, so we're gonna let this simmer for a while, and then we're gonna add the seasoning, the spices, any more bouillon if we need anything, salt and pepper. Actually, I'm gonna add some salt, not too much because I don't want too much salt in my diet, and some pepper that I love. So probably half a teaspoon of salt and 1 whole teaspoon of pepper, but you don't have to put that much. But again, this is a huge pot. Okay. So I'm gonna go get my other things cleaned up, my food processor mess, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm done tidying up. Now I just wanted to say that typically the broth was already in my pot, but typically I would saute the onions and the celery and the carrots up a little bit and the garlic first in some butter or olive oil. But today I already had the broth in the pot, so I just started throwing the stuff in, and it's gonna taste just as good. I just do however it works out easiest. And this is it's gonna simmer for a couple hours and get all the flavors together, so it's gonna be delicious. So this is simmering now, and it's looking really good. That's a big piece of chicken right there. This will all break up as it simmers and gets all the flavors going. So I'll come back and check this in an hour, and then I'll add some of my flavorings. Okay, so I have my favorite Better Than Bouillon chicken flavoring, and this is an organic kind of chicken stock. It's my favorite. And then I've got this jumbo jar of our homemade Mrs. Dash that we made in a different video, and I'm going to be putting some more of this in. I did use some of this to flavor the stock, but I'm also going to use it to be putting in our soup. So get those things ready, and as the veggies get tender, we will start flavoring it all up. Okay, so I've had a little taste of the soup, and the veggies are about half done. So I'm just gonna add a heaping tablespoon of this chicken bouillon. Actually, I'm gonna add 2 of those. And I'm also going to add some of our Mrs. Dash. So with another, let me get a clean spoon, because I don't want that in my Mrs. Dash. I'm going to get a heaping tablespoon of that, maybe a little bit, so that was about 2 tablespoons. And we have a lot, so this is so great. Plus I had, when I got some Costco things, I didn't have to buy Mrs. Dash this time, so that was wonderful. All right, so let's come back when this is all the vegetables are nice and soft, and then we will go from there. So the soup is cooking up so nicely. I just wanted to show you the types of noodles that I typically use. So these 2 are my favorite, and these are like a traditional German egg pasta, spetzel kind of pasta, and then these are just a fine egg noodle, like a German egg pasta as well. And whatever I have. If I have my own homemade noodles, of course I always use those, but I don't have any. We used it up in the last soup, so I feel like I'm gonna go for the fine noodles this time, because I haven't used that in a while. I've been using these ones, or my homemade, which has a thicker one, so I'm gonna go for the finer one today. That is looking so delicious, and just so nice on this cool day. The snow is still melting, but it's just, we've had a windstorm for 3 days straight, and it's just such a joy to be over, and it's so calm outside. It'll just be a nice thing, especially for Jamie to have some lunch, because he's outside chainsawing that tree down that fell in the windstorm. So cleaning that up is like going to be a whole few day project for sure. There's so many branches. So this is looking fantastic. I want all of this to be super tender, and the longer it sits in the pot getting flavor, the better. But that's all there really is to it. After this cooks up, all I'm going to do is add about 1/3 of a bag, maybe half of the bag of pasta. Just depends. I don't want the pasta soaking up all of the liquid. I want it to still be quite nice and brothy, but that's really all there is to it. So I'll come back when this is all simmered. We'll add the pasta, and that's all we'll do, and then we'll be able to eat. So our soup has been simmering now for 2 hours. It's super tender, the veggies, and the flavor is amazing. I just tasted the broth. But just adjust stuff how you like it. If you need to add a little bit more, you want to add some water if you put too much seasoning in or something. But just adjust it to taste. Now is the time, and then now we're going to add our noodles. Okay, so I'm going to add about a third of this bag. We'll see where we go. I'm fumbly today. But also, just to let you know, I am in the middle of making cheese right here. So if you're interested in learning how to make cheese, check out my other video. I'll link it in the description box below. But let's add these yummy little fine noodles and see. Oh yeah, I could add a bit more. Okay, so I'm going to use half a bag. I kind of thought with the pot this size that I would need more. Oh, it's a little bit stuck in there. There we go. I just don't want too much noodles because I don't want them to soak up all the broth, because it's such a nice, yummy, hearty broth. Okay, it is near lunchtime, so I'm just going to look at the bag. Let's see. Cook pasta in the water for approximately 4 minutes or to your liking. Okay, so that's not going to take long. 4 minutes is basically going to be by the time I get my soup bowl out and ready to eat. Okay, I can't wait to test this. Oh, I'm so excited to eat this. It looks so good. House smells good. So let's give it a try. Really, really hot still, but so good. So I hope you guys will give this homemade chicken noodle soup a try. It's just something so easy you could whip up with some biscuits or eat with some toast or some nice bread with butter, or nothing, like I'm gonna have it because I just like it plain. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day and you'll give the soup a try. Let me know in the comments if you do. Bye friends.